If your mother doesn't sell that house before Thanksgiving, Marcus, we lose ours. I am not going down because two old people are taking up oxygen downstairs." Her lipstick was perfect. 10 minutes earlier, Amber Whitaker had stood in her white kitchen in Aurora, Illinois, under a ring light, speaking as if the Lord himself had subscribed to her channel. Cream cardigan, tiny gold cross, a smile soft enough to fool strangers. "America has forgotten how to honor aging parents," she told her viewers. "Family is where faith learns to serve." My name is Etta Mae Whitaker. I was 64, born near Chicago, and I had spent my working life in hospital billing. I knew Medicare forms, insurance letters, dates, signatures, and the difference between promise and protection. My husband, Walter Whitaker, was back in our Maywood bungalow, sitting by the front window in his wheelchair. Folks called him Walt. 9 years earlier, a job site fall took his legs. Later, medication started stealing pieces of his memory. Before those bad days, he had signed a durable power of attorney, naming me to handle his care, money, insurance, and medical decisions. He squeezed my hand and said, "Love your people, Etta Mae, but don't ever hand them your life without a receipt." Amber's camera clicked off. Her smile vanished. She turned to my son Marcus, shame sitting heavy on his face. "Your mother has a house," Amber said. "We have a deadline." Marcus rubbed his jaw. "She's tired. Don't push her too hard." "Oh, please. You want to be the good son? Then be useful. That bungalow is sitting there while we drown in this mortgage." I should have stepped in. Instead, I stood still, because mothers do foolish things when the voice hurting them belongs to their child. We wait for the wound to explain itself. Marcus did not defend me. That settled in my bones. When he finally saw me in the hallway, his eyes flickered. "Mom, you heard any of that?" I looked at my only child, once a boy in a red parka, now a grown man trapped inside a house he could not afford. "I heard enough," I said. Amber came behind him with her Sunday smile back in place. "Mama Etta, I was just saying life could be better if you and Mr. Walt came here. You shouldn't be alone anymore." And she took my hand. Her fingers were warm. Her words were honey. But something cold moved underneath. I thought about Walt waiting by our window and the folders in my cabinet marked bank, deed, insurance, medical, Poe. I thought about how tired I was of being brave in rooms where nobody clapped. Amber squeezed my hand as if she loved me. That was when I learned some people do not need a camera to perform. They only need somebody willing to believe the act. 2 nights after I heard Amber's real voice, Marcus came to our Maywood bungalow with barbecue ribs from Walt's favorite place and sweet tea in his hand. Walt was having one of his clear evenings. He sat by the front window with a blanket over his knees. When Marcus walked in, Walt smiled like the years had folded backward. "There's my boy," Walt said. Marcus kissed his father's forehead. "Hey, Pop." We ate off paper plates because I was too tired to wash dishes. Marcus talked about the Bears, Lily's school play, and how Amber's channel was helping people. But he did not mention the mortgage until Walt dozed off. Then my son lowered his voice. "Mom, you can't keep doing this by yourself." "Well, I've been doing it a long time." "You know, that's the problem." He leaned forward. "Let me step up." Those words hit a soft place in me. Any mother who says she does not have one is lying. Marcus described the Aurora house like a brochure written for tired women. Wide hallway for Walt's wheelchair, main floor bedroom, private bathroom with grab bars, a window facing the backyard, space for my blue recliner and Walt's hospital bed.
You'd have sunlight, Mom. Real sunlight.
I looked around our bungalow. The walls held 40 years of living. Fish fries, birthday candles, 4th of July smoke, and the dent where Marcus crashed his toy truck at 6. That house had raised him. Amber called on video before I could answer. She appeared with soft music behind her and that careful glow on her face.
Mama Etta, she said, I've been praying on this.
Families shouldn't be scattered when the older generation needs covering. I'd love to document the journey, to encourage people. I did not say what I thought. Some folks can turn a prayer into a sales pitch. After the call, Marcus touched my hand. Mom, let me be your son for once. I looked at him. Under his trimmed beard and good sweater, I saw fear. Not the clean fear of a man worried for his parents. A cornered fear. Bills, deadlines, pride. Walt woke suddenly. Etta May? I'm here. He glanced at Marcus, then at me. You sure? Even with his mind slipping, my husband could still hear a door creak before the rest of us saw it opening. No, I said softly, but I'm tired. Marcus squeezed my shoulder. We're family. We'll make it work. I wanted that sentence to be true so badly, I almost mistook wanting for wisdom. After Marcus left, I opened my filing cabinet. Deed, insurance, bank statements, medical file, power of attorney. I laid everything on the kitchen table and heard Walt's old warning, love your people, but keep the receipt. By morning, I had decided to sell the house. I also decided that if my son wanted my trust, he would sign his name where promises could not run away. The Maywood bungalow sold on a gray Tuesday morning. I signed the final papers at a title office that smelled like burnt coffee and copier ink. A young woman slid page after page across the table saying, "Initial here," like she was dealing cards. I kept my back straight. I had worked too long around hospital bills to fear paperwork. Still, when I handed over the keys, something in me folded. That house had heard Walt singing Al Green while frying catfish. It had held Marcus's trophies, my church hats, and every hard winter we survived with soup on the stove. After realtor fees, taxes, an old medical balance, and moving costs, I had about $372,000 left. Marcus called it a miracle. Amber called it God's provision. I called Nadine Carter. Nadine was my niece, though she had the sharp eyes of a judge and the patience of a woman who had seen families turn mean over money. She practiced elder law in Illinois. When I told her Marcus needed $288,000 for the Aurora house, she asked one question: gift or loan? A son doesn't ask his mother like that, I said. A court does. Nadine answered. So we made it plain. Promissory note, payment terms, recorded subordinate lien against the property. The bank would stand first. Walt and I would stand second, not ahead of the mortgage company, but not invisible either. Marcus did not like that. He sat across from me at Nadine's office, jaw tight. Amber sat beside him, purse on her lap, smile thin as paper. Mom, Marcus said, you really need all this? I'm your son. And I'm your mother, I said. That means I should teach you better than to take money without a record. Amber gave a small laugh. Mama Etta, in my family, we don't put blessings under legal language. I turned to her. In my family, we don't confuse a blessing with a blank check. The room went quiet. Walt was not well enough to sit through everything, but his durable power of attorney made my authority clear. Nadine had reviewed every document twice. She would not let anyone rush me, not even my own blood. Marcus signed last. The pen moved hard enough to leave marks on the page beneath. So you don't trust me, he said. I looked at the grown man I had once carried while stirring grits with the other hand. I trust that pressure changes people, I said, and I trust paper to remember what people forget. Amber's eyes shifted. That evening, I placed the original documents in a navy metal lockbox. Loan papers, transfer receipt, Walt's power of attorney. My hand rested on the lid before I closed it. Money can move from one account to another in seconds. But dignity needs a witness, and I had just given mine a paper trail. The medical transport van reached the Aurora house just after 10 on a Saturday morning. Walt sat strapped in his wheelchair with a navy blanket over his lap, watching the street as if asking whether we belonged there. Marcus stood in the driveway, waving. Welcome home, Pop. That word, home, came too easily. The house looked like success from the curb. Brick front, trimmed shrubs, 2-car garage, and a wreath on the door. I noticed the ring light in the foyer before I noticed the family pictures. Lily waited near the staircase. Hi, Grandma Etta, she whispered. I touched her cheek. Hey, baby. Marcus showed us the promised room first. I will give him that much. It sat on the main floor, facing the backyard. Sunlight poured through a wide window and laid itself across clean hardwood. The bathroom door was broad enough for Walt's chair. There was space for his hospital bed, my blue recliner, and the small table for pills. Walt lifted his head. Some days the world came to him in pieces. That morning, it came clear. This room breathes, he said. For one dangerous minute, I believed we had chosen right. Then Amber stepped in, with a hand pressed to her chest. Oh, Mama Etta, I hate to say this. The bathroom has a plumbing issue. Small leak behind the wall. Marcus already called someone. Marcus looked at the floor. How long? I asked. Just a few days, Amber said. A week at most. She led us toward the garage entry. The air changed before she opened the door. Cardboard, detergent, and motor oil. She called it a mudroom. It was storage with a ceiling bulb. Metal shelves lined one wall. Boxes of filming lights, fall decor, paint cans, and plastic bins crowded the corners. There was no window. One outlet sat crooked in the wall. We cleared space, Amber said brightly. Temporary, of course. 2 movers pushed Walt's hospital bed inside. The wheels bumped against a box marked Amber Fall Content. My husband stared at the blank wall, and the light that had touched his face disappeared. I wanted to say no, but Walt needed his medication. Lily looked frightened, and Marcus looked like a man praying nobody would ask him to be brave. So I swallowed the protest. That outlet needs fixing, I said. Marcus nodded too fast. I'll handle it, Mom. Amber smiled. See? Family adjusts. That evening, I placed our wedding photo on top of a cardboard box because there was no nightstand. In the picture, Walt stood tall beside me outside our church, young enough to believe vows could shelter people from every storm. From upstairs, Amber's laughter floated down. Walt touched the edge of the photo. "Etta May," he murmured. "This ain't the room." "No," I said. "A promise can have a window. A betrayal does not need one." The first week, I kept my suitcase half-zipped. A woman can fool herself with small hopes. I told Walt the plumber must be busy. I told myself Marcus would come down with tools and move us into the sunlit room by Sunday. By the third Sunday, Amber had hung cream curtains in that room and set a ring light where Walt's hospital bed was supposed to go. She called it her prayer studio. I watched her arrange a Bible, a mug that said, "Blessed Mama," and a throw blanket. My blue recliner sat in the corner, angled toward the camera, like it belonged to her. "Oh, Mama Etta," Amber said, "just until the plumbing is done. The light in here is too good to waste." Too good to waste. Down in the mudroom, Walt's pills sat on the washing machine. His blood pressure cuff hung from a nail beside an extension cord. I warmed oatmeal on a hot plate because the kitchen had become part of Amber's filming schedule. Every morning, the garage door groaned open. Cold air rolled over Walt's feet. He would blink hard, trying to place the sound. "Are we leaving?" he asked once. "No, baby," I said. "Just cars." He nodded, but his hand searched for mine, like the room itself had teeth. Marcus stopped coming downstairs unless Amber sent him to get something. When he did, he stood halfway inside. "You good, Mom?" Good. There are words people use when they do not want an answer. "I need the outlet fixed," I told him, "and your father needs quiet after his evening dose." "I know, I got you." But he did not have me. He had excuses, lenders, phone calls, and a wife whose voice could pull him upstairs faster than blood could pull him down. One Thursday, Amber recorded a video in the studio. I heard her through the vent. "Caregiving is not a burden," she told her followers. "It is a calling." At that exact moment, I was kneeling beside Walt's bed, wiping spilled soup from his blanket because the folding tray had collapsed. My knees hurt, my back burned. The mudroom bulb flickered like it was tired, too. Walt looked at me, lucid for one clean second. "Etta May," he whispered, "don't let them bury you while you still breathin'." I pressed the cloth to my mouth so Amber would not hear me cry. That night, I wrote in my spiral notebook, "No window, unsafe outlet, blocked wheelchair path, medication moved twice, kitchen access limited." Then I underlined one sentence. A house can have 5 bedrooms and still not hold one corner of mercy. From upstairs came Amber's sweet voice, thanking viewers for loving her family. I looked at Walt's face in the thin yellow light and understood something I had not wanted to know. We had not moved in with our son. We had been placed where the camera could not see us. I first noticed the water on a Tuesday night. It sat outside the mudroom door in a plastic bottle, still cold enough to sweat against the label. No footsteps, just water, placed where my hand could reach it without leaving Walt alone. I knew Marcus had not brought it. My son announced every kindness like he needed a witness. Amber would never leave anything for us unless the camera could bless her for it. So I looked toward the stairs. Lily was standing halfway up, one hand gripping the banister, her brown eyes wide as if I had caught her stealing. I did not call her name. I only lifted the bottle and nodded once. She vanished. After that, little things began to appear. A clean washcloth folded beside the door, a pack of soft dinner rolls, a small tube of hand cream after Amber complained my hospital smell was ruining the hallway. Once, Walt's nerve pain medication showed up inside a paper lunch bag after Amber swore she had organized it somewhere safe. And that word safe had started sounding dangerous to me. Lily had been adopted when she was younger, and Amber used that fact like a ribbon on a Christmas gift. Online, Lily was our miracle daughter. At home, she was corrected, posed, rehearsed, and watched. "Smile with your eyes," Amber told her before filming. "Say blessed, not lucky. Don't make Grandma Etta look sad in the background." The child learned to lower her voice until it barely touched the air. One afternoon, I found a torn piece of notebook paper tucked under Walt's pillow. "Grandma Etta, I'm sorry. I don't know how to help." I sat on the edge of the bed and held that paper like a church fan in July. My throat tightened, not because Lily was weak, but because she was a child trying to carry grown folks' sin in her school backpack. Walt watched me from his pillow. "Who wrote?" "Oh, an angel with algebra homework," I said. He smiled, then drifted away again. That evening, I met Lily near the laundry closet. She froze when she saw me. Upstairs, Amber was laughing into her phone, telling somebody her channel might get a holiday sponsor. I leaned close, careful not to touch Lily in a way that might scare her. "Baby," I whispered, "doing right quietly is still doing right." Her lips trembled. "Mom says you confuse things." "Well, your mama says a lot of things." "Well, she says I owe her for taking me in." I felt heat rise behind my eyes. "No child owes rent on love," I said. Lily looked down fast, but not before I saw something change in her face. Not courage yet, recognition. Sometimes that comes first. The next morning, Amber searched Lily's backpack because she claimed a makeup compact had gone missing. Lily stood still while Amber opened every zipper. I watched from the hallway. My hands folded so tight my knuckles ached. In one side pocket, under colored pencils, I saw a small black USB drive. Amber missed it. Lily caught my eye for half a second. Neither of us smiled. But in that house of polished lies, silence had become a language. And Lily, bless that child, had started learning how to speak it. The envelope had already been opened. I found it on the small folding table beside Walt's bed, slit clean across the top. My Social Security statement half pulled out, like somebody had been interrupted. I stood there with my coat still on. I had just come back from picking up Walt's prescription at Walgreens, and the mudroom smelled like cold rain and dryer sheets. Amber appeared in the doorway holding her phone. "Oh, Mama Etta, I meant to tell you," she said. "Your mail got mixed in with ours." "Well, it has my name on it." And she smiled without warmth. "We're one household now." Behind me, Walt shifted in his bed. Some days he did not know the year, but he knew disrespect when it walked in wearing perfume. Amber placed a printed sheet on the table. It had neat columns, soft blue headings, and numbers that looked official because she had made them pretty. Utilities, groceries, caregiving supplies, household disruption, shared maintenance. At the bottom, she had circled a monthly amount in red. That comes to about 64% of your retirement deposit, she said. It's only fair. I stared at the paper. Household disruption? I asked. My filming schedule has changed since you moved in. I almost laughed, not because it was funny, but because sometimes foolishness gets so bold it knocks the breath out of you. You want me to pay for interrupting the room you stole from us? Her eyes sharpened. That room is part of this home. Well, so is this mudroom, according to you. Amber stepped inside, careful not to touch anything. Mrs. Whitaker, you and Mr. Walt are living in our house. There it was. Not Mom, not family, not Mama Etta. Mrs. Whitaker. Our house. The words landed harder than a slap because $288,000 of mine and Walt's life was sitting inside those walls. My sold kitchen, my front porch, Walt's work settlement, the last safe money we had. Marcus came down when he heard our voices. He looked from Amber to me, already tired of a fight he had not entered. Mom, nobody's attacking you, he said. Then tell your wife to stop opening my mail. Amber folded her arms. Transparency protects everybody. Receipts protect everybody, I said. Show me the electric bill. Show me the mortgage statement. Show me what I'm paying for. Marcus rubbed his forehead. We're under pressure, okay? Lily's school costs money. The mortgage is tight. Amber's channel has expenses. We just need everybody to help. Everybody, I asked, or just the two people sleeping beside paint cans? He flinched, but not enough. Walt's voice came low from the bed. Marcus. For a second, my son looked like a boy again. Walt tried to lift his head. Don't make your mama beg for what's hers. Marcus turned away. That hurt more than Amber's mouth. After they left, I took the printed sheet and wrote the date on it. I wrote the time. I wrote, opened my mail without permission, asked for 64% of retirement, refused to show actual bills, said, our house. My spiral notebook was hidden under the folded mattress. I slid the page inside like a witness statement. Walt watched me. You writing it down? He whispered. Yes. Good. Outside the mudroom, Amber's voice floated through the hallway, bright and cheerful again. Hey, friends. Today I want to talk about healthy boundaries in family caregiving. I put my pen down. Some people do not hate boundaries. They only hate the ones that keep them from your wallet. The call came while I was sorting Walt's pills into a plastic weekly box. A woman from the bank asked me to confirm 2 attempted transfers from our emergency medical account. Her voice stayed polite, but there was a tightness underneath it. One for $37,500, Mrs. Whitaker. The second for $10,900. My hand froze over the Thursday compartment. I did not authorize those. She asked a few security questions. Then she said the requests had come through with an old authorization form attached, one that had once been included in our family file years earlier. Marcus. I did not say his name out loud. Some truths burn worse when they first touch air. Walt was asleep, his mouth slightly open, one hand resting on the blanket. That money was for ambulance rides, medication gaps, mobility equipment, copays Medicare did not love enough to cover, and the kind of emergency that makes a nurse lower her voice. Not for Marcus's mortgage. Not for Amber's ring lights.
Not for a grown man to float his pride for a few days.
And I told the bank I would come in person. Amber was filming upstairs, so I wrapped my coat around me, put Walt's documents in a canvas tote, and called a cab to the Oak Park branch. I did not ask Marcus for a ride. I did not ask permission to protect what was mine. The branch manager was a gray-haired man named Mr. Donnelly. He listened without rushing me. We closed the vulnerable account, opened a new one in my name with Walt protected under my authority, removed outdated access, added a verbal password, and flagged any large transaction for in-person confirmation. Keep sensitive papers outside the home if you believe someone may misuse them, he said. I thanked him. Then I sat in the cab back to Aurora with my tote bag on my lap like it held a newborn. To everyone listening, if Etta's story makes your blood rise, please leave a like and tell me in the comments what advice you would give her. Stay with her, because the truth still has one more door to open, and the people who smiled the sweetest are not done showing their teeth. Marcus was waiting when I returned. He came down to the mudroom so fast the door hit the wall. His face was red, his phone clenched in his hand. "You froze the account?" I took off my gloves slowly. I protected it. "You think I'm stealing from you, Mom?" I looked at him then, really looked. At the boy I had once carried through fever. At the man standing in a room too small for his father's wheelchair, asking me to comfort him after he reached for our last safe money. "You tried to take your father's medical funds," I said. "Don't dress theft up as stress." His mouth opened, then closed. "It was temporary," he said. "We were behind. I was going to put it back." "But from where?" He looked away. That silence answered better than any confession. Amber appeared behind him in the hallway, barefoot, her camera makeup still on. "This is exactly what I mean, Marcus. Your mother escalates everything." "No," I said. "Your husband crossed a line. I noticed." Marcus stepped closer. "Mom, I'm drowning." And I wanted to reach for him. My hand even twitched. A mother's body remembers love before her mind remembers betrayal. Then Walt stirred behind me and whispered, "Etta May?" I turned to him first. That choice changed the room. Marcus saw it. Amber saw it. I felt it settle over me like a coat finally buttoned against winter. "I will not let you drown your father to keep yourself dry," I said. Marcus flinched as if I had cursed him. But I had not cursed him. I had named what he did. That night, I moved the navy lockbox from under the folding mattress and placed it in my tote. I kept the spiral notebook, the bank papers, and Walt's power of attorney close enough to touch. For the first time since moving into that house, I did not sleep much, but I was not helpless. And when I wrote the date in my notebook, I did not write Marcus with a mother's softness. I wrote his full name. Marcus Whitaker attempted access to emergency medical funds. The first thing to disappear was my reading glasses. I kept them beside Walt's pill chart every night. Hospital billing had made me particular. I knew where papers belonged, where pills belonged, and where my glasses belonged. That morning, they were gone. Amber stood in the hallway with her phone low. "Looking for something, Mama Etta?" "My glasses." "Oh." Her mouth made a sad curve. "Again?" "Again." That one word was meant to plant a seed. I found them in the kitchen sink, under a wet sponge. Amber gasped like she had found evidence. "Bless your heart," she said. "You must be tired." After that, Walt's medicine started moving. His nerve pills left the blue container and showed up in a drawer with napkins. His clinic card vanished. When I called, the receptionist said the appointment had been canceled online. I didn't cancel it. "It came through the portal, ma'am." Amber was the only person asking for passwords to streamline care. But I wrote dates, times, and exact words. But a notebook cannot stop pain when the pill bottle has been hidden. One afternoon, Walt's hands clenched around the sheet. "Amber," I called, "where is his medicine?" She appeared already recording. "Etta, lower your voice. You're scaring him." "Well, you moved it." "But I organized the room." "Well, this isn't organization. This is cruelty." Her eyes hardened. Then she softened her voice. "I'm trying so hard to help you." That night I saw the video. When caregiving breaks your heart. Amber sat in the sunlit room promised to us. Tears shined on her cheeks. She told viewers her mother-in-law was showing confusing signs. Her father-in-law needed care, and faith held them together. Then came clips of me, opening drawers, raising my voice, holding Walt's chart with shaking hands, looking to strangers like an old woman losing her mind. The comments called Amber a saint. "Protect your peace, sister. God sees your sacrifice." I sat in the mudroom with the phone in my lap. Anger was not big enough for what I felt. They had not stolen my mind. They had stolen the picture of it and sold it. By morning, a fundraising page sat under the video. "Help us care for our aging parents with dignity." Dignity. No photo showed the crooked outlet. No photo showed Walt beside boxes. No photo showed the room with no window. Lily passed before school, backpack on one shoulder, eyes red. She let a note fall near my shoe. I waited until she was gone. She has more videos saved. Above me, Amber's footsteps crossed the floor of the room she had taken. Then I understood. She was not only humiliating me, she was building a record. And if I did not build the truth faster, her lie would walk into court wearing my face. That Friday evening, the house smelled like microwave popcorn and Amber's vanilla candle. Upstairs, she had filmed a family Sabbath reset. Though none of us were Jewish, and nobody in that house was resting. I was changing Walt's shirt after supper when Lily slipped past the mudroom door with a laundry basket hugged against her chest. She did not look at me. That was how I knew something was wrong. Lily usually gave me at least one small glance, quick as a match being struck. A few minutes later, voices rose from the laundry room. Amber's voice came first. "You said the attorney thought it was possible." Marcus answered low, but anger made him careless. "I said I asked. I didn't say we had it." "Guardianship would let you handle your father's care, wouldn't it?" Walt's fingers tightened around my sleeve. I stood still. Marcus said, "If Mom keeps acting unstable, it changes things." That sentence did not break my heart all at once. It entered slow, like cold water under a door. Amber snapped, then she needs to look unstable.
The court won't just hand it over because you're his son. His son. Not caregiver, not protector. Son. The title he had been born into was now something he wanted to use like a key. I heard a soft thump near the hallway. Lily must have set the basket down too hard. The voices stopped. Then Amber's footsteps moved sharp and fast. "Lily," she called, "why are you standing there?" "I was doing laundry," Lily whispered. "At night?" "Well, you told me to wash my gym clothes." There was a pause long enough to scare me. Then Amber said, sweet as syrup poured over poison, "Go upstairs and don't repeat grown folks' business." Lily passed our door without stopping. Her face looked pale under the hallway light. I wanted to pull her inside, but fear has rules. Break them too soon, and the child pays first. Later, after Amber's bedroom door shut, I heard the faintest tap near the mudroom. One tap, then two. I opened the door. No Lily. Just a folded paper by the frame. On it was an email address I recognized, Nadine Carter's law office. Under that, in Lily's uneven writing, was one sentence. "I told her you and Grandpa Walt are not safe." My knees nearly gave out. Nadine was my niece, my late sister's girl, and one of the few people in the family who understood that love did not excuse legal blindness. She handled elder law, estates, and guardianship fights. She had helped with the loan papers because she knew exactly what money could turn relatives into. The next morning, Nadine called while Amber was upstairs recording a devotion about forgiveness. "Aunt Etta," she said, keeping her voice calm, "I'm coming by Sunday, peach cobbler in hand. Family visit. Nothing more obvious than that." "You heard from Lily?" "I heard enough to worry." I looked at Walt. His eyes were open but cloudy. "They said guardianship," I whispered. Nadine went quiet for half a breath. "Then listen to me. Do not confront them about that word. Not yet. Keep your documents close. Keep notes. And if they try to move, Uncle Walt, call me before you sign anything." After we hung up, I sat beside my husband. He reached for my hand, and for once his eyes cleared. "Etta Mae," he said, "papers?" "I have them." Good. That single word held more marriage than all Amber's videos held mercy. Upstairs, Amber laughed for her audience. Downstairs, I opened my tote and touched the folder marked P.O.A. Marcus had not only tried to take money, he had started reaching for authority. And a man who will reach for his sick father's name on paper will reach for anything not nailed to the truth. Nadine Carter knocked at 2:30, right after Amber finished curling her hair for a casual family visit. Nobody in that house curled hair for family unless a camera might benefit. Amber opened the door wide. "Nadine, come in. Mama Etta didn't tell me you were stopping by." "I was nearby," Nadine said, lifting the foil-covered dish. "Thought I'd bring cobbler." That was my niece, sweet enough to enter, sharp enough to survive. Amber hugged her too long. "We've been doing our best with Mama Etta and Mr. Walt. It's a season, but God is faithful." Nadine smiled. "I'm sure it's been a lot." She looked at the hallway, the closed studio door, the garage entrance, and Lily standing stiff beside the kitchen island. Lawyers notice what liars decorate around. Marcus came down, "Hey, Nadine, didn't know we had company." "Just family," she said. "Where's Uncle Walt?" Nadine asked. Amber's smile twitched. "Resting. He gets overwhelmed." "He knows me." "Yes, but his condition has changed." I stood up. Walt would like to see her. The room went still. The kind where everybody measures who has power. Nadine followed me to the mudroom. The moment she stepped inside, her face changed, just enough for me to know she had seen it all. The boxed-in bed, the crooked outlet, my folded mattress, the bins narrowing Walt's wheelchair path, and no window anywhere. Walt blinked. "Nadine?" And she knelt beside him. "Hi, Uncle Walt." He smiled, tired but real. "You still arguing for a living?" "Every chance I get." Amber hovered at the door. "Temporary. Plumbing." Nadine looked around. "How long temporary?" Amber answered too fast. "A few weeks." "Since moving day," I said. Nadine only nodded, as if placing my words in a file. The next morning, she met me at a community clinic to check Walt's medications. I brought my tote, the promissory note, recorded lien, bank warning, photos, opened mail, notebook pages, screenshots of Amber's video, and Lily's note. Nadine read everything, while Walt dozed behind a curtain. Her jaw tightened page by page. Then she looked at me. "Aunt Etta, this is not family drama. This is a case." The words did not comfort me. They steadied me. She told me not to secretly record private conversations. "We do this clean. Public videos, bank records, texts, emails, medical notes, photographs, inspection reports. Truth that can stand without apologizing." Before we left, Nadine touched the folder marked POA. "They are trying to make you look confused," she said. "So we make the record clearer than their lie." Outside, cold air hit my face. I helped Walt's chair over the clinic threshold. For months, I had felt buried under my son's roof. That morning, I heard the first shovel strike dirt above me. Amber did not shout that Monday morning. That made her worse. She moved through the kitchen in a pale blue sweater, packing Lily's lunch with the calm hands of a woman setting a table for company. Marcus stood by the coffee maker, pretending his phone needed both eyes. "Lily," Amber said, "Mrs. Henson may want to speak with you today." Lily froze. "Why?" "Because I'm worried about you." Amber slid an apple into the lunch bag. "You've been withdrawn, confused, spending too much time around Grandma Etta." My name sat in her mouth like a charge filed at a courthouse. I was in the hallway, close enough to hear and far enough to be denied. "You know adults can manipulate children," Amber added, "especially when their minds aren't steady." Lily glanced toward me, just once. I gave no signal except staying upright. At school, Mrs. Henson called Lily from social studies before lunch. Lily told me later the office smelled like pencil shavings and lemon cleaner, and there was a poster on the wall that said, "You are safe here." At first, my grandbaby said what fear had trained her to say. "We're okay. Mom is stressed. Grandma Etta gets mixed up sometimes." And Mrs. Henson did not argue. She slid a tissue box closer and asked, "Lily, do you feel safe at home?" That question found the crack. Lily cried so hard she could not shape words. Then the truth came out in pieces. Grandpa Walt sleeping in the mudroom, the room with no window. The medicine moved, the filming, the notes. Amber making her smile after she had been crying. Marcus looking away. "She's not confused," Lily whispered. "Grandma Etta is scared. I am too." Mrs. Henson asked careful questions, dates, places, names, whether anyone had threatened her for speaking. Not gossip questions, questions meant to protect a child. By 3 o'clock, Nadine called me. "Aunt Etta, the school made a report through the proper channel. Lily spoke." I sat on the edge of Walt's bed and closed my eyes. "Will Amber know?" "Sooner or later," Nadine said. "But Lily's words are not a secret note under a door anymore. They are part of a record." That word steadied me. When Lily came home, Amber was waiting at the island. "Did you have a nice talk with Mrs. Henson?" Lily's face went white. Before she answered, I stepped into the kitchen. "She had a school day," I said. "Let the child breathe." Amber turned slowly. "This doesn't concern you." "When a child is shaking in her own kitchen," I said, "it concerns every decent adult in the room." Marcus muttered, "Mom, don't start." "Well, I didn't start this." Lily walked past us and went upstairs. Her backpack bumped each step, small and heavy. That night I found no note at the door, no water bottle, no folded towel, just Lily's bedroom light glowing under the door until after midnight. I prayed without fancy words. "Lord, keep that child from paying the bill for grown folks' wickedness." Walt stirred and opened his eyes. "Little girl okay?" he asked. "She told the truth," I said. He nodded slowly. "That costs." "And yes," I whispered, but silence was costing more. Amber chose Thursday because it was good for her channel. The episode was called Honoring Aging Parents with Grace. "Mama Etta," she called, "come help me for a minute." I was wiping Walt's hands. He had been restless since morning, breathing shallow, eyes searching the ceiling. "What does she want?" he asked. "Decoration," I said. Upstairs, Amber had turned our promise bedroom into a chapel for strangers. Fake eucalyptus, my blue recliner under her cream throw, a Bible open where Walt's medication chart should have been. Marcus stood by the door looking at his phone. Lily sat with her laptop, stiff and silent. Amber handed me a dustcloth. "Just straighten things behind me," she said. "Natural family moment." "But then why am I holding a rag?" Her smile tightened. "Because service is beautiful." The main camera faced Amber. A smaller one sat near the bookshelf for paid members. She bragged that extra angles made people feel inside the home. Amber touched her hair, lifted her chin, and became holy. "Friends," she said, "love does not quit when caring for older parents becomes inconvenient." Then I heard Walt downstairs. Not a word. A broken breath. I dropped the cloth. Amber snapped her fingers low. "Etta, we're filming." "My husband can't breathe." "We will check after this take." I looked at Marcus. "Call 911. He did not move. Amber stepped in front of me. She reached toward the main camera, thinking she had stopped the stream, but never checked the small one. "You ungrateful woman," she hissed. "Do you know what I've carried for this family?" Walt coughed again, sharp and wet. "Get out of my way." Her face twisted. "He is already half gone, Etta. If you two would stop clinging to this house, Maybe Marcus and Lily could have a decent life. Lily's hand flew to her mouth. Amber kept going. You think anyone wants to watch an old man fade in a storage room? I made you useful. The room went dead.
Then Lily's eyes shifted to the bookshelf camera. The tiny red light was still on. I saw it too. For once, I did not answer Amber. I went around her and down the stairs because Walt mattered more than my anger. Behind me, Amber whispered, "Turn that off." Lily said, barely breathing, "It's live." I reached Walt. His face had gone gray. I lifted his shoulders, checked his oxygen tube, and called for help. When the paramedics arrived, Marcus stood against the wall like a man waiting for somebody else to become him. My phone buzzed while Walt's pulse was being checked. It was Nadine. I got the clip. I looked toward the ceiling, toward the room Amber stole. Sometimes the truth does not knock. Sometimes it walks in wearing the enemy's microphone. Nadine did not waste the clip. By 8, Adult Protective Services had been contacted, and a housing inspector was coming. Amber paced through the kitchen, telling Marcus the video was taken out of context. "Context," I said. "Your context had a red light on it." She spun toward me. "You planned this." "No, Amber, you performed it." The inspector arrived before lunch. Ms. Alvarez, silver glasses, work boots, no use for Amber's sweet smile. An APS worker stood beside her while Marcus opened the door like a man surprised by consequences. Amber clasped her hands. "This is a misunderstanding. We've been remodeling a suite." Ms. Alvarez checked her clipboard. "I need to see where the Whitakers sleep." I led them to the mudroom. No one spoke at first. Ms. Alvarez looked at Walt's bed, wedged beside storage bins, the blocked wheelchair path, the crooked outlet, chemical bottles near our blankets, and the garage door leaking cold air. "No window?" she asked. "No," I said. "Second exit?" "No." "How long has Mr. Whitaker slept here?" Amber answered, "Temporarily." Ms. Alvarez turned to me. "Ma'am?" "Since the day we moved in." The APS worker wrote it down. Walt lay still, eyes open. He understood enough to be ashamed. A man who worked union jobs in winter wind should not feel embarrassed for needing care. The inspector tested the outlet, measured the bed space, and photographed filming lights stacked above Walt's head. "What is all this?" Amber lifted her chin. "Content gear." Ms. Alvarez looked at the ring light box, then at Walt's oxygen tubing. "This room is not approved for sleeping use." And Marcus swallowed. "What does that mean?" "It means nobody sleeps here." Then she placed a red notice on the door. Amber's face changed when that paper stuck. Not sorrow, not shame, rage at being witnessed. "You are destroying us," she said. Nadine had arrived by then. "No, the record is catching up." Amber turned fast. "Mrs. Whitaker gets confused. She exaggerates." The APS worker looked at Walt's chart, my notebook, the photos, and the clip Nadine had forwarded. "She seems very clear to me," the woman said. For months, I wrote things down in the dark, like seeds dropped into dirt. That afternoon, every date, picture, and note grew a voice. Before they left, APS told Marcus that Walt's care could not be delayed or used as leverage. The inspector said the mudroom could not be treated as a bedroom. Upstairs, her phone kept buzzing. One sponsor paused a holiday campaign. The fundraising page went under review. For the first time since I entered that house, a paper on the mudroom door did not trap me. It warned them, and that red tag looked almost like sunrise. By sundown, sponsors paused campaigns, viewers asked questions, and the fundraising page built on our suffering was locked for review. For once, Amber could not edit the truth. Marcus sat at the kitchen table with his hands in his hair. Amber stood over him. "Say something." "Well, what do you want me to say?" "Well, that your mother set us up." I was helping Walt sip water. His eyes kept moving toward the red tag on the mudroom door. Then Amber came down the stairs, not walking, charging. "You finally got what you wanted," she said. I stepped between her and Walt's bed. "Stay away from him." She laughed once, sharp and ugly. "Before me, he was just a sick old man in a chair." Walt flinched. "Do not speak about my husband like he is furniture," I said. Amber grabbed our wedding photo and threw it against the floor. Glass burst across concrete. In the picture, Walt and I were young outside church, his arm around my waist. For a second, anger rose so bright it scared me. Nadine's warning came back. If there is danger, do not wrestle with crazy. Call 911. I slipped my hand into my cardigan pocket and pressed the screen. Emergency call. Speaker low. Amber kicked the blue pill box. "I can have him placed in a nursing home tonight. I'll tell them you're unstable, and Marcus will sign whatever they need." Marcus appeared behind her. "Amber, stop." The dispatcher's voice sounded small against my leg. 911, what is your emergency?" "My daughter-in-law is threatening my disabled husband and destroying property." Amber froze. "Are you calling the police?" "Yes." She lunged for the phone, but I stepped back. Marcus caught her arm, not to protect me, but to keep the scene from becoming something he could not explain. Too late. The police arrived with body cameras on. They saw the broken frame, scattered pills, Walt shaking, the red notice, and me standing there with my hands open. Marcus tried the old line. "Officer, this is a family misunderstanding." Nadine came through the garage entrance, coat half buttoned. "Family is not a legal defense," she said. Amber started crying then. Not the pretty kind she saved for the camera, the angry kind, because the room refused to obey. That night, Nadine helped request an emergency order of protection. The officers told Amber to leave while the report was made. Lily stood at the top of the stairs in pajamas, one hand over her mouth. I wanted to go to her. Instead, I looked at Walt. He was reaching for me. I stepped over the broken glass and took my husband's hand. For years, I had taught myself to survive quietly. That night, help came because I finally let the whole house hear me. 11 weeks behind on the mortgage. That was what Nadine found first. Then came the property taxes, the credit cards, the high-interest business loan, and invoices for cameras, lights, editing software, sponsored sets, and all the pretty things Amber used to sell a holy life to strangers. The house was not a home anymore. It was a stage built on unpaid bills. Marcus and Amber tried to sell it fast to an investor before foreclosure swallowed the last of their pride. They thought I was too tired to show up. Maybe they thought an old black woman in a cardigan would rather cry quietly than walk into a title office with proof. They did not know Walt had trained me better. Nadine and I arrived 15 minutes early. I wore my navy dress, low heels, and the pearl earrings Walt bought me on our 20th anniversary. In my tote bag were the original promissory note, the recorded subordinate lien, the wire receipt for $288,000, the bank reports, the order paperwork, and a fresh medical evaluation stating I was fully capable of making my own decisions. Amber saw me and went pale. Marcus stood up. "Mom?" I did not answer right away. There are moments when silence is not weakness. It is a judge taking the bench. Amber recovered first. She is confused. This whole thing has been manipulated by Nadine. Nadine laid the documents on the table one by one. "She is not confused," my niece said. "She is secured." The title officer reviewed the lien. The investor shifted in his chair. Marcus looked at the pages as if they had crawled out of the grave to testify. "Mom," he whispered, "please, if you release it, I can start over." I looked at my son, my only child, the boy who once fell asleep against my shoulder after Little League, the man who let his father sleep beside paint cans. Then he said the word he had saved for emergencies. Mama. That nearly did it. But behind him I saw Amber's face. No remorse, only calculation. "You didn't lose everything, Marcus," I said. "You spent what was never yours." His knees bent as if the floor had softened. I didn't know it would go this far. "Yes, you did," I said. "You just thought I would keep taking it." The sale did not rescue them. The first mortgage took its share. Costs and debts ate through what remained. Our lien stood where it was supposed to stand, not because I hated my son, but because Walt and I had earned protection before Marcus learned entitlement. Amber lost sponsors. Her fundraising page stayed frozen under review. Her channel, once full of praise and prayer hands, filled with people asking where the money went and why the aging parents had slept in a windowless storage room. Marcus lost the house, his credit, and something no bank could report, the right to use Mom like a key. Walt and I moved into a senior apartment with wide doors, a real window, and a nurse down the hall. One morning, sunlight crossed the floor and touched his blanket. He opened his eyes. "Did we get out?" I took his hand. "Yes, Walt, we got out." Nadine later helped me create a trust. After Walt's care and my living needs were protected, what remained would help Lily with school, housing, health care, and a future nobody could steal from her. Marcus and Amber had no control over $1. When Lily visited, she brought a small basil plant in a clay pot. Walt looked at her, clear for one blessed minute. "You brought the light back," he said. And that child cried like somebody had finally called her by her true name. The lesson I carried out of that house is simple. Love without boundaries can become a spare key for greedy hands. If this story touched you, please leave a like for the channel. And if you have any thoughts, share them in the comments below. Tell us what city or state you are listening from. Thank you for staying until the end. I wish you health, peace, and protection over your home. See you again in the next story on Voices of Aunt Etta.